Hey everyone, it's Melissa Metcalf Leroy here, coming to you live from the Fitness Center at Foothills Wellness Center. It is Thursday, April the 30th, the last day of April, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that means this is the last free 30-minute yoga for the month of April. So keep in mind that these free classes that we posted for April will still continue to be available on our YouTube channel through mid-May. So we hope that you guys have enjoyed these classes and that you'll continue to share these. And then also make sure that you watch our Facebook page for upcoming information on when we can start back the in-person classes. We're really excited about that. I, for one, miss everyone. And I just want to say thank you once again to everyone who has watched, viewed, and participated for the month of April. It has, as you know, been a difficult month for the majority of everyone, and you guys have made a difficult month wonderful. So thank you so much. So I've got 6 o'clock, so let's get started. Tonight's routine is going to be what I call a Melissa special. So it's going to be more geared towards beginners. It's going to be an easy flow. And so this would be if Melissa had 30 minutes free and a yoga mat, what she would be doing. So here we go. I'm going to head back to the mat and we'll get this started. So once on your mat, we're going to slowly transition down. We're going to go into perfect pose. So whatever perfect pose looks like for you, whether it's the crisscross applesauce, whether it's the legs straight out, making sure that both sits bones are even on the mat. We're sitting up nice and straight and tall. Chin is level, shoulders are square. So notice I have my arms just gently placed in my lap here. Chin is level. I'm going to start deep lymphatic breathing here. So in through my nose, and then I'm going to blow it out through my mouth. Continue your breathing. Now on your next breath, I want you to focus on that core. So find your belly button, suck it to your spine. When you do that, those glute muscles, those bum muscles automatically constrict and tighten, and they're just going to grip the mat just a little bit. If you notice, if you're watching, that I've slowly allowed my eyes to flutter closed. In doing this, I'm just going to bring myself into the present moment. So with each exhale, we're going to take a couple more breaths in and out. I'm slowly going to erase away my day. So with each exhale, I'm just pushing it out a little further and further. I'm going to worry about today's agenda, what happened, tonight's agenda, tonight's to-do list, and 30 minutes. On my next exhale, I'm just going to push the sounds from inside and outside the room out of my mind. I'm going to allow the next inhale to come in, and then on that exhale, I'm just going to quiet my mind. I'm just going to get it very quiet, release thoughts. We're just coming into our own present moment, almost a meditative state here. One more breath in, and gently exhale it out. On that next inhale, we're slowly going to start to flutter our eyes open, allowing ourselves back in the room. Deep breath in. And on that exhale, we're going to release those legs. If they're not already stretched out in front of you, we're going to do so. Feet are flexed. We're going to place those palms face down on either side of those thighs. We're going to gently bring them back to where now they're palms face down on either side of our hips. We're going to adjust our shoulders here. It's very easy for those shoulders to roll forward. We're going to take those shoulders back, opening up our chest, and when we do, we sit up nice and straight and tall. So we're lengthening that spine. Breathing, chin is level, engage that core. So find that belly button, suck it to your spine. This seated pose looks so innocent. The longer you hold it, the more you start to shake. It's a good one for a warm-up particularly. You're warming up every muscle in your body right now. It's all engaged. On your next exhale, gently bending those elbows, releasing those shoulders. And if you need to flex those feet, point those toes, you can get a little oxygen into those legs and or wiggle those legs just a little bit. We're going to keep those legs out and we're going to go into some gentle twists here. So my next inhale, I'm going to bend that right knee, bringing it up, placing my right foot. So my big toe is going to be about in the middle of that left knee. So I'm going to sit up nice and straight and tall here. So it's very easy once again to kind of round that back and round those shoulders in this position. We're going to come up, sitting up nice and tall. We're going to take that left hand, place it behind you. The right elbow, we're going to bend and place it on the inside of that right knee. And we're just going to do a nice gentle twist. Sitting up, so making sure we've got that chest open. Notice that I have turned my head. I'm looking over just slightly to the left side. So I'm going to take a deep breath in. I'm going to exhale it out. And I'm going to twist just a little deeper. Notice that left foot is flexed. Core is engaged. I'm holding here for 2 breaths. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. One more. Inhale. And exhale. On that exhale, we're releasing. We're going to straighten that right leg back. Coming up, sits bones are even on the mat, making sure that our spine is straight. Just have my hands gently placed just above my knees on either side of those legs. Deep breath in. This inhale, we're bending the left knee, placing that left foot in the middle, once again, of that right knee. So we're sitting up nice and straight and tall. Right hand's going behind. Bending that left elbow, placing it on the inside of that left knee. We're turned, opening up that chest so we can get a good breath. So inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. And turn just a little deeper. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. And on that exhale, blow it out, releasing. Coming back. All right, releasing that left leg straight. Feet are still flexed. We're sitting up still, nice and straight, tall. Lengthening that spine. Hands or palms face down just above those knees. We're breathing. Chin's level. Shoulders are relaxed. Shoulders are square. Nice. All right. The next inhale, I'm going to bend both knees and I'm going to tuck them off to the left side. So that's going to require me to move over just a little bit on this right hip. So I'm coming over and then I'm going to come up on those knees and we're going to come into table. So knees directly below those hips, hands directly below those shoulders. Chin is square, so that means that our neck is a direct extension of our spine. And we are in table, so the back should be straight as a board. So envision if there's a little chair, you could slide a little chair up here and actually eat off of your back. So here we're going to do a quick warm-up also of cat-cow, 2 sets of these. So inhale through your nose, you're bringing that chin up and pushing that back down to the mat for cow. Exhale, blowing it out, chin to your chest, belly button to your spine, arching that back up towards the ceiling for cat. Inhale, coming back down, cow, and exhale, cat. And then slowly returning back to table. Here in table, you want to make sure that you have that core engaged. Find that belly button, suck it to your spine. You don't want that belly hanging down to the mat. So if you were taking an in-person class, here's where I would say, remember to suck it up. You're holding. We're going to breathe here for 2 breaths. 1 more. All right, on our next inhale, we're just going to gently shift our weight to that right knee, right hip. We're going to pick up that right hand and we are going to slide that right hand in between the left hand and left knee. So we're threading the needle. We're coming down, and as that arm comes down, you'll notice that my back starts to really twist here as I bend that left elbow coming down to the mat. I'm going to turn then that palm where it's facing behind me, thumb is up, so I'm protecting that shoulder. Notice that my left elbow and forearm are now on the mat. I'm now going to slide that up if I can, and this actually then lengthens that stretch all the way down from your fingertips all the way down to that left hip. We're feeling it though in the right side. So this is a nice, gentle, digestive twist. Breathing. Once again, our core is engaged. One more breath. On that exhale, we're slowly going to slide that left palm down to where it's in front of our face, and then pushing ourselves up, bringing that right hand back through, back into table. 2 breaths here. 1 more, engage that core. Nice. Now we're going to shift that weight slightly to that left knee, left hip. We're going to pick up that left hand and slide it now through between that right hand and right knee, coming down to the mat and sliding that right arm forward, palm still face down on the mat, and I'm just taking that palm, that left palm, and facing it to the back, and that thumb is up. So I'm not doing any damage to the shoulder here. I'm just engaging that tricep. So you can see here that nice twist. So on our middle back, middle thoracic, we house a lot of our digestive nerves. So this is just kind of engaging and energizing. We're breathing. 1 more breath. On that exhale, sliding that right palm to where it's face down in front of our face, and then using that momentum from the next exhale to push ourselves back up, back into table. 2 breaths in table, resetting here. You're going to feel that stretch in the middle of your back already from that threading the needle pose. That's a good one. One of my favorites. On your next inhale, we're going to shift our weight to that right hand, left knee. We're going to be coming out with that left hand, right leg. So once again, notice that my left thumb is pointed up to the ceiling, so that way I have full range of motion here at that shoulder without doing any damage. And then my back is level, core is engaged, and I've flexed that right foot down. So some of you may come up into this position and you're a little wobbly. Try to control that with your breath and engaging that core. Breathing, we're holding for 2 breaths. One more. On that exhale, slowly lower that left arm, right leg down to the mat. We're in table for 2 breaths. Reset here. Gauge that core. One more. Next, inhale, shifting that weight now to the right knee, left hand. We're coming out with the right arm, left leg, and we're holding. Breathing. We're doing this for 2 breaths. Once again, control that shaking, that wobbling with your breath and engaging that core. On your next exhale, slowly allowing that right arm, left leg to come back into table for 2 breaths. Next inhale, we're going to bring both knees together, ankles together, and we're going to slide back into child's pose. Now in child's pose, if you cannot come all the way down because of a knee issue, knee problems, or that you're just a beginner in yoga, this is where a block comes in very handy. So you can put a block here, resting those glutes on the block, or you can turn it up if you need a little higher, if you're like, that's still not enough. Coming down into child's pose. Once again, protecting those shoulders here. So if you have shoulder issues, this is uncomfortable for you, placing that forehead on the mat, wrapping those arms around, placing those fingertips on the arches of your feet, so the middle of your feet. Breathing. So you can start to feel the stretch here of child's pose. So it runs all along the spine, down into those glutes. We're just relaxing into this. One more breath. On your next exhale, bring those palms face down on either side of your chest. We're going to slowly sit ourselves up. We're going to come into diamond. So diamond, if you're not able to put those heels, once again, touch that bum to those heels, and this is where a block comes in handy. So you can place a block here in diamond. In diamond, we want to make sure those shoulders are square, chest is open, hands are on top of those quads, and we're breathing. One more breath. Nice. So I'm going to slowly allow those hands to come down in front of my knees. I'm going to kick myself forward slightly on those knees, just enough to where I can curl those toes under, and I'm coming back into a balanced position. Now, if you need to keep those hands here on the mat because you're not quite sure of that core balance, you certainly can. I'm actually going to inch it forward just a little bit to make sure that I'm still in the camera here. You can certainly do that. This is a great way to build up that core balance. And if you're like, oh, I think I've got this, coming up just a little bit. If you need to come back down, you can do so. Otherwise, if you're really wanting to go for this, don't fall. Coming up, engage that core, find that balance, and you're here. This is one of my favorite positions. I love this pose. Chin is level, I'm looking straight ahead, shoulders are square. So now I'm going to transition into a standing position. From here, I'm simply going to take a deep breath in through my nose. I'm going to engage that core, find my belly button. On that exhale, I'm pushing all of that oxygen from the exhale through the balls of my feet and standing up. So inhale, exhale, and now we're in a standing position. So I'm going to turn now. So when we go into standing positions in yoga, our rest and recovery pose that we typically go back to after each standing position is mountain. So mountain, your feet are directly below those hips. So this is also one of those, what I like to call body scan positions. So you want to make sure that there's even weight coming up. So we start with our ankles, our knees, making sure those knees are softly bent. We don't have them hyperextended back. Even weight and pressure on those hips, and we just work up from there. Shoulders are back and down, they're relaxed. Chest is open, chin is level. We're breathing, so we're standing up nice and straight and tall, just like a mountain. We have a solid, firm foundation. We're grounded. Nothing can knock us down right now. One more breath. So remember tonight's workout, if you join us from the very beginning, is what would Melissa do if she had 30 minutes to do yoga in her day? 30 minutes free. I know some of you are laughing out there, and that's perfectly fine. Melissa's routine would not be complete without tree, because that is absolutely my favorite yoga pose ever. So guess what we're doing next? You guessed it, tree. All right, so we're gonna balance our weight, and I encourage you, even though I'm going to my left leg, because this is my strongest side, if your strong side is your right, go to your right. So I'm gonna start with my left. So I'm going to shift my weight to that left leg. If you need to, you can rock back, pick up the front of that foot, and then place it down. So spread those toes out, place each toe on the mat separately. From there, I'm going to get my balance. If I have to bring my hands to my hips, I certainly can, and I certainly will. Beginners, you're going to lift up that right heel where you're on the ball of that foot, and we're simply going to twist, placing that heel just above that left ankle. Now, if you want to stay here, if this is working your core, you have that core engaged, and that quad, you can feel that quad, that high T-band running down. Those glutes are engaged, and you're like, whew, this is good. Great. If you want to come up slightly to where now that heel is just a little below the knee, you're able to then take that right knee out just slightly. Holding here, fantastic. So if you can keep your balance here and then bring those hands up, that's wonderful. If you want to go even higher, you certainly can. But here you want to go above that knee. You don't want to place that foot right on that knee, because here's what happens. See how I just pushed out on that left knee? That's going to cause knee injuries. We don't want any injuries. So then you can bring all the way up if you're comfortable here, holding tree. And then from prayer pose, we're coming up to where our arms are straight above our head. We want to transition those arms, though, back a little. We want a little bit of shoulder scapula movement here, to where if you brought those arms together on your head, you're actually going to touch those ears. So you don't want them too far forward, you want them back. So here you can really feel that movement. If you just kind of play around with this, you can feel how it engages that middle back more. And then engage that core. So in order to hold this here, you really have to find that belly button, suck it to your spine to where you're holding. So now that you're here, let's do 2 more breaths. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. 1 more. Inhale. On that exhale, bringing those hands, palms face together, back in front of your chest into prayer pose. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply release that foot, bringing that right knee forward, and then slowly transitioning it back down to the mat. Hands are coming down. If you need to, check your placement of your feet. We're back into mountain. So once again, mountain is our rest and recovery for our standing poses. And we're breathing. Let's do 2 more breaths. One more. Good. All right. True to the opposite. We have to balance it out. So here we go. We're going to shift our weight to that right leg, picking up that left heel on the ball of that left foot. If you want to slowly transition up with me, let's do it. So left heel just above that right ankle. That left ball is still on the mat. We're holding here. We're engaging that quad, engaging that IT band, engaging that core. And let's just go up. So let's take then that left heel just below that knee, transition that left knee out. Ooh, yes, that's a good one. We're in prayer pose. If you want to stay here, bringing those arms up, position them on either side of those ears, that's fine. Or if you want to take it even a step further, grabbing that leg, bringing it up. As high as you can. Once again, we've got to get above that knee. We don't want to have it on the knee. Holding here. We're breathing. And then if you can, bring those arms up. Engage that core. One more breath. On that exhale, bring those hands together. Palms face together in front of your chest. We're going to gently release that left foot from the right leg, bringing that knee out in front, and then slowly, while engaging that core, releasing that leg back down to the mat. And we're back into mountain. We're breathing. One more breath. Good. Now we're slowly going to transition down to our mat. So how I'm going to do that is I'm actually going to take my right knee, so I'm going to bend my right knee, lifting that right heel up off the floor. I'm going to kind of curtsy behind me. So I'm going to take that right foot behind me, and I'm going to transition to the floor here, engaging that core. I'm going to be coming down to where now that right knee is on the mat, and then I can just transition further down to the mat. So the next pose that we're going to go into before we start our cool down and finally end up in Shavasana is going to be bridge. So you notice that I have my knees bent, feet are flat on the mat. I'm going to grab behind that right leg, grabbing that right hamstring, and I'm going to gently lay myself back on the mat. Once there, placing the back of my head on the mat, I'm going to come back down. Knees are still bent, feet are flat on the mat. Releasing those hands, palms face down on either side of those thighs. What I'm going to do from here is I'm going to walk those heels up as close as I can to my bum muscles. So I'm going to get them as close as I can. Now from here, I'm really going to engage my core. I'm going to find that belly button. I'm going to suck it to my spine with a deep breath in, and on that exhale, I'm taking this up to the ceilings. So I'm in bridge. Watch those knees that they don't fall apart. They're straight, and we're going to try to get this up, keeping the back of your head flat on the mat here. We're breathing. So with each inhale, see if you can get just a little higher. For those of you more advanced, if you want to bring those hands together, interlace those fingers underneath for a deeper stretch, really opening up that chest, you certainly can. We're breathing. Deep breaths. I'm going to release those hands, and on my next exhale, I'm going to see how slow I can go in lowering that bum back down to the mat. So deep breath in, and exhale. How slow can you go? Engage that core. Ooh, those quads and hamstrings should be on fire. Ooh, we are firing up tonight, everyone. Slowly going down. One vertebrae at a time is touching. And we're down. And that should have felt really good. Really good. All right, so let's start our gentle cool down here. We're going to bring one bended knee up at a time, placing those hands on top of the shins, just below the knees, not on the knees themselves. Let's protect those knees. Feet are flexed. We're just going to gently start rocking here, side to side, following that belt line. Oh, this should feel good. You might hear a little bit of snap, crackle, pop, what I like to call Rice Krispies. That's okay, we're just resetting. Just a nice gentle rock back and forth. We're gently going to release those palms back down to the mat. I'm going to straighten those legs now. Feet are flexed, so it should look like you're holding up the ceiling here. We're going to hold this for just a minute. This feels good. You can feel that nice stretch, hamstrings, IT bands, quads. For those of you with low back issues, you're going to bend your knees here, placing your feet flat on the mat. For everyone else, if you have no low back issues, I would invite you to engage that core and see how slowly you can lower those legs down to the mat. Once down to the mat, you're going to turn those feet out, allowing them to just roll out. And you'll notice then that you open up that pelvic region. Feels really good on those hips and those glutes. Palms are going to still be face down on either side of those thighs. We're in a relaxed state here. We're in corpse, otherwise known as Shavasana. We're breathing. In Shavasana, this is very symbolic of the life cycle. So we focus internally on ourselves. This is our final rest and recovery pose. Just allowing ourselves just a few more moments of self-care. One more breath. Here's where I would invite you, if you were at home and you plan on staying at home, if you have a blanket next to you, placing that blanket on top of yourselves and continuing the self-care for just a little bit. Shavasana is a great position to stay in just a little longer. In the interest of time, though, in a 30-minute yoga class, we don't have that much time to stay in Shavasana. So for everyone else who unfortunately has things to do tonight, including myself, who cannot stay in Shavasana, we're going to take a deep breath in, and when we do, we're going to bend both knees, placing our feet flat on the mat. And on that exhale, we're going to use that left arm to bring it over, acting like a weight, to where we're on our right side. Left palm is face down in front of our chest. Deep breath in. On that exhale, we're going to use that oxygen to push through that left palm, sitting yourselves back up. We're going to end tonight's routine as we started in perfect pose. So whatever perfect pose looks like for you, whether it's crisscross applesauce, legs out in front, Main thing to remember is sits bones are even on the mat. We're sitting up nice and straight and tall. Shoulders are square, back and relaxed. Chin is level, core is engaged. We're focused on our breath. And if you can, allow those eyes to stay closed for just a couple more breaths here. On your next inhale through your nose, we're going to slowly find the to-do list, our agenda, allowing it to kind of filter back in at your pace. On your next inhale, slowly allowing the sounds from inside and outside the room to filter back in, to be recognized. And on your next inhale, slowly allowing those eyes to flutter open, allowing yourself to get used to the light and the sights from inside and outside the room where you're practicing. One more breath here. Making sure your weight is even on those sits bones and that you're grounded. And you're ready to start the rest of your day and or evening. In closing tonight's routine, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed the April free classes. I'm kind of a little emotional tonight. You guys have made my month. So until we meet again in person or virtually, whatever fate may be, please stay safe and healthy. Namaste. Thanks, everyone. Have a great evening.